Trump's fine impacts investors and businesses in New York?
Well, developers are all asking the same question. Is this fine, penalty, and interest commensurate with the act? The
bullshit. I take it a piss.
Oh, come on, we're in a house of God. First, simmer down. Thank you for getting it out of your system. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanagh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
We're not stopping New York Attorney General Letitia James getting flustered a bit at that New York City Fire Department ceremony as she is booed by the firefighters who then chant for Donald Trump. Trump, 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 they were saying. Now, top brass at New York's bravest want to investigate any firefighters who they say broke protocol by saying Trump. The New York Post obtaining an email from the chief of the department saying that he recommends those who protested come forward so the commissioner, Laura Kavanagh, won't have to, quote, hunt them down.
Bullshit. I take it a piss.
A spokesperson pushing back on this, telling Fox News Digital no one is being hunted down. They want whoever broke department regulations. Wow. Jonathan, your thoughts?
Yeah, this seems really over the top. I think they should let this go. You know, it shows atrocious judgment that they would even bring Letitia James to speak to one of their events because she is probably the most polarizing figure. She's weaponized her position as the Attorney General to go after a political opponent. And
Applies to all of us equally, fairly, and justly. And former presidents are no exception.
victimless crime in the context of monies lost. There wasn't any. And so also this law was used for the first time in 75 years to get this outcome. And so I think that would be examined as well by the appellate court in New York.
This case has never been about politics, personal vendetta, or about name calling. The rule of law applies to all of us, equally, fairly, and justly. And former presidents are no exception.
No exception. Yeah, definitely not about politics. New York Attorney General Letitia James bragging today about the multi-million-dollar penalty imposed on former President Donald Trump. Tweeting just the number. Her anti-Trump Twitter followers, of course, celebrating it, predictably clapping seals. A move that seems more like a campaign post than that of a dispassionate, just DA who just wants to get to the bottom of it.
And everyone knows the political opponent she's going after is very popular amongst people like firefighters, police officers. So they've really set themselves up for this horrendous judgment. They need to leave people alone.
Even if we choose to appeal this, which we will, we have to post the bond, which is the full amount and some, and we will be prepared to do that. They picked the wrong guy to pick on, in my opinion, because he's strong, he's resilient, and he happens to have a lot of cash.
As his lawyer said, Donald Trump is not going down without a fight. The former president vowing to appeal the ruling in his New York City fraud trial that resulted in a staggering $355 million fine and banned him from operating a business in the city for 3 years.
The idea that they should come forward and report themselves. I mean, come on, these are firefighters putting their lives on the line. Give them a break. They have a First Amendment right. Let them express it.
I wonder if it was Letitia James's office who made the call to the head of the Fire Department of New York, or was it the White House, Mark?
I would assume it was probably Letitia James's office. I mean, how the heck is she supposed to burn down our justice system if there's firefighters out there? So you got to go after them.
We're in a city that's already $1 trillion has left the city in business. Where real estate, commercial real estate is at 52% occupancy. We've got one bank, New York Community Bank, that stock is down over 50% this year in the last few weeks because there's so much concern over, these buildings being empty, these office buildings, and how many can we quickly convert to apartments and things like that. It's an awful business environment to begin with. And this has made it even more unpleasant.
Just a comment and then a question for you. I heard her soundbite a lot when she says Donald Trump and his behavior.
Yeah.
Okay, she didn't say his actions or the decisions he made as a businessman. She said his behavior. We know that Democrats hate Trump for his behavior.
Right.
They've made it clear. I thought it was an interesting choice of words from her. Secondly, who gets the money?
Every time I see these fines, like a bank is fined, $4 billion, right? And the SEC takes the victims have never seen anything, right? I don't know who's going to see this money. Again, no one filed a charge. No one filed a complaint. So it's just an old school. But I want to pick up on what you said, because the judge made a similar comment in this, right? He says, speaking of President Trump, they did not rob a bank at gunpoint. Donald Trump is not Bernie Madoff, yet defendants are incapable of admitting the error of their ways. It feels like the whole plan was to make President Trump bow, to humble him, to take away his swag, to remove the veneer of the anti-establishment veneer, to break him down. That's what they're looking for, like they're going for more than anything else, and it keeps backfiring. And
but look, this Laura Kavanagh, I think it's an important thing to recognize. She's the FDNY Fire Commander. She's not a firefighter. She's never been a firefighter. She was appointed by Eric Adams, so now she's in the role of supposedly having to hunt down these firefighters who, again, were just practicing their First Amendment right, while Letitia James, all the while, she's in the process of going after everyone except the real criminals. I mean, one of her latest battles is going after somebody who banned transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. Like, she's fighting all the wrong fights. She needs to focus and do what she's in office to do.
Wow. And meanwhile, we've got crime spiking in New York City across the board, and migrant crime specifically.
Remember, there's no money's lost. There's no victim here. So essentially just under $500 million fine for a situation where no monies were lost. We're just wondering, does this make sense?